show up and show up somewhere else, you know? So we're afraid for the people that may not have the resources to be protected.
And it's not far-fetched. You can talk to some of the past employees who were there during some of these issues, and I can't get into too much detail, but stopped a dangerous situation from happening that would have seriously hurt other individuals. So when it comes down to it, people need to be made aware. They need to avoid Miss Nunez.
Beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It is a beautiful day in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border. We did wake up to 31 degrees this morning. It was very, very cold this morning, and there was a thick blanket of frost across the lawn. And when I went out to the barn to open up this morning, there was a thin skim of ice across the water troughs. This is like the third morning that has happened, not in a row. It's happened periodically. I think that our beautiful, extremely warm summer days are over. We are moving into hunting season in the Crown of Maine. I hope everybody is having a spectacular fall. I hope the sun is shining. I hope the breeze is warm with just a hint of chill in the air. I hope your leaves are turning beautiful, brilliant hues. I hope you're having days filled with fabulosity. And dang good coffee. Strong coffee. Everybody deserves a dang good cup of coffee throughout their day. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls, Jacqueline Nunez is still at it. She's never really stopped. On Sunday, last Sunday, today is October 25th. It's Friday. Last Sunday, jasonhawes put up a new video on his YouTube channel at jasonhawes. Go over there, check it on out. And in that video, he and his daughter Satori explain that, the messages keep on coming. They never really stop. They're not jumping on to the public forums and expressing what is going on. They're keeping a lot internalized. And only when it gets really out of control and heinous and completely downright life-threateningly terrifying are they coming out and telling the general public what's going on in their lives. Well, Jacqueline's never stopped. Stalkers never do stop. And Satori received a message from Jacqueline in which Jacqueline names each and every person that she hopes someone KILLS's. And she also said in that message that she, Jacqueline Nunez, owner of the Conjuring House, does not mind doing a life sentence in prison. That's absolutely horrifying, ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls. Town of Burrillville. We have been following this epic drama since the very beginning. It would be July. July is when everything happened. Jason gave the former employees a platform, did a live show on his YouTube channel back in July. A week later, Brian Dansereau was given his walking papers because the ghost of John Arnold told Jacqueline that Brian was stealing, when in fact, Jacqueline owed everybody money. In some way, shape, or form. She owed Brian like $9,000. We've talked about how Brian went to the labor board. There are lawsuits filed. These things can take a long time to resolve, guys and ghouls. We have heard about the Burrillville Police Department, along with the Burrillville EMS and a few social workers, did welfare checks on Jacqueline Nunez while she was at the Conjuring House. And at least twice she was taken from the house and put at least 24 to 72 hour hold in the hospital, but ultimately released relatively quickly. We have discussed Jacqueline's last hospitalization in September, where she was being hospitalized and contacted the Providence Journal, said very horrifying, defamatory things about Jason Hawes and the former employees of the Conjuring House, her victims that she is terrifying and terrorizing just because she wants to. They all have no trespass orders on her. They all have no contact orders on her. Jacqueline disregards the law every chance she gets. So in September, Jacqueline was in Fatima Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island, and she contacted the Providence Journal and made statements. She accused people of doing things they never did. But not only did she do that, she told the Providence Journal that she didn't know if the hospital was ever going to let her out. And while she was hospitalized, she continued to contact the former employees of the Conjuring House. She sent them PayPals. Little itsy bitsy pieces of money. $5, 3 cents, 10 cents, whatever it was. She sent these increments of money to Brian Dansereau, satorihawes and her fiance Cody, and to Corey Heinzen. She didn't send these itty bitty bits of money to them because she's a kind person and she owed them some money, and she was going to just send them $5, paying down her debt. That is not what she was doing. She used the PayPal messaging system because she had been blocked from everybody's phone and emails, and there was no real way to contact them at that point. She used the email system to send each and every one of them vile, threatening, terrifying messages. And on Sunday, Jason and Satori revealed the message that Satori received, naming each and every person that Jacqueline would like to see KILLED, and that she would not mind spending a life sentence in prison for. Now, if that's not terrifying enough, Jason and Satori were trying to warn the public, boycott Conjuring House. It's a hashtag thing. Because they were afraid this was going to spill over and an unsuspecting guest visiting the Conjuring House, doing an investigation, having a tour of the house, would run into Jacqueline while she was having a mental breakdown. In other videos that I have done, I have asked the town of Burrillville why she still has her entertainment license. You know, when Jacqueline applied for her entertainment license, we talked about this in another video, in 2022, Balefire LLC applied for a 24-hour operating license for the Conjuring House. The neighbors in the neighborhood opposed it. They sent letters. They spoke in front of town council as to why they didn't want this entertainment venue in the area anymore, in their neighborhood. Their neighborhood, as one neighbor said, used to be very peaceful and quiet, an ideal place to raise your children. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls, after the release of the Conjuring House movie franchise there, when Warner Brothers released the movie, that neighborhood got turned upside down. People would show up at the Conjuring House when it was owned by Norma Sutcliffe. Now, Norma bought the Conjuring House in the 1980s. She had lived there for 25 years. She says she never had a problem with the house. She ran a daycare out of the house. She didn't even know Warner Brothers was releasing this movie. She didn't know a movie had been made. They never told her. And what ended up starting to happen was fans of the movie started showing up to Norma's property in the middle of the night, during the day, onto the neighbor's property. And in 2015, Norma Sutcliffe sued Warner Brothers. In 2019, she sold the property to Corey and Jen Heinzen. They got an entertainment license so that they could conduct their events, their investigations at the house, have guests at the house, all the TV shows. They all did investigations at the house. And the neighbors at the 2022 Burrillville Town Meeting for Balefire LLC's entertainment license let the town of Burrillville know that there were instances, many, many instances, where their homes on the same road as the Conjuring House were mistaken for the Conjuring House. People would pull up into their driveway, hop out of the car, all excited. They were at the Conjuring House, wrong property. Including one person reported to the town council that somebody thought that their home was the Conjuring House and just walked right in. Now, can you imagine cooking dinner or breakfast or lunch, your door opening, and somebody standing right in your kitchen thinking they were at a haunted venue? That is absolutely horrifying. So the neighbors did press to not give Jacqueline Nunez, Balefire LLC, an entertainment license. But the town of Burrillville gave her a 24-hour operating license, and now we have all these problems. So we had asked in a previous video, the town of Burrillville, what's it going to take? Is it going to take for a guest of the Conjuring House to be there while Jacqueline has an episode? It's not like the town of Burrillville doesn't know. They are well aware of what is going on in their town. They are well aware that the Burrillville Police Department, the EMS, and 2 social workers have been out to that property a few times, that Jacqueline has been taken away, put in the hospital for at least 24 hours. They are aware of all the dirty, rotten things that she has done and continues to do to her former employees. Police reports were made. Your town council talks with your police chief. These are things that happen in small towns. Follow the money once again, ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls. The city of Burrillville will not revoke the entertainment license for Balefire LLC because people visit the Conjuring House. And when people visit the Conjuring House, they bring their tourism dollars to the town of Burrillville. Trickle-down economics. People who would otherwise, ordinarily, not even know where Burrillville, Rhode Island was. They would have never heard of it if it was not for the Conjuring House. So you go to the Conjuring House, you take a tour, you visit other small businesses in the area, you spend some money there. The town gets better revenue. Yeah. What's it going to take, town of Burrillville? What's it going to take? We've asked this in a previous segment. What's it going to take? Some guest to be hurt on the property by Jacqueline Nunez? Now, Jason's video went up last weekend on October 21st. Real people who had booked an investigation at the Conjuring House had a very terrifying, very disturbing, dangerous confrontation with Jacqueline Nunez, owner of the Conjuring House. They were there to do an investigation. Scott Kitlarz, I hope I'm saying the name right, Kitlarz, posted a Google review giving the Conjuring House 1 star. He wished it had been a half a star he could give, but you can't do that. So he had to at least make a 1-star Google review. He had a terrifying experience on October 21st at the Conjuring House with Jacqueline Nunez. Scott Kitzlar writes in the review, I would really like to give this place half a star, but it won't let me. So let me start off by saying the scariest thing about the Conjuring House is the current owner. All the rumors we heard or read are true. I regret not having listened to the paranormal community regarding this individual, Jacqueline Nunez. Parentheses. By the time I heard anything, we'd already paid for the place and it was too late for a full refund. We booked the house for October 21st. Check-in was 7 p.m. and check-out was 8 a.m. Per the rules instructions, we were going to be given a brief tour and then left alone from 7:45 p.m. to 8 a.m. Molly was very kind when we arrived and gave us our brief tour and how to contact her if we needed anything. We began to set up the equipment and set about doing our investigation. Around 9:20, the owner arrived home and walked in and introduced herself. She was cordial with us, and we discussed the fact that she had lived in our home state for a bit. Just making some small talk, she thanked us for coming and to enjoy our stay. About 15 minutes later, while we were in the middle of an EVP session, we heard from downstairs a hello. We heard this a few times. We had to stop our EVP to go talk with her. We thought she maybe had forgotten to tell us some info that was important. She starts off with asking us, who parks in the middle of the driveway? Mind you, it was completely dark when we arrived, and the spots were not easy to see as it's a gravel lot. We were told by Molly that it was okay to park there. I left and reparked the car. She then proceeds to start on us about our laptops that we were using to monitor our cameras that were set up in various places throughout. She became very upset about us having them, unplugs one of them, and asks if we are content creators. The rules allow for 2 hours of this regardless, so it was an irrelevant question. I told her no, and that it was for our equipment. She then says, I feel you don't have good intentions. It made no difference how much we tried to defend ourselves and alleviate her concerns. She obviously had it set in her mind that we were up to no good there. She had absolutely no rationale to offer us for her feelings. She leaves for the second time. About 15 minutes later, she returns for the third time. At this time, we are in the kitchen, and we hear her talking to us from the other room saying, quote, don't expletive, we all know what expletive Jacqueline uses, with the house. A few minutes later, she says this again, don't expletive with me, the house. Do you hear? This is absolutely, positively crazy. We do hear, and that the spirits of the house know. I tell her she doesn't know anything about us, and she says, you both have dark energy. She keeps at it and says, I can feel it, and the spirits will tell me. I nicely tell her if she wants us to leave, I will, but I want a refund for the place. This is about 10 p.m. by now. I also let her know that it's not fair that she has been interrupting us and our EVP by not allowing us to do our research. She eventually says she will give us a refund. I ask if I can have that refund promise in writing. She says you will get a refund. We're a very reputable place and the most popular place in the world. We do not rip people off, except our employees, except other people we throw out of there, except for the fact that we don't give refunds. It's not funny, but it's just absolutely so brutally painful that this is continuing to go on and on and on when the woman is clearly mentally unstable. Scott continues with his review. 2 days have passed, no emails, no calls, nothing from her. She doesn't answer any of the emails I have sent. I drove 1,200 miles from Iowa to be there, incurred costs from that, and now I have to fight with her to get my money back from the bank. All $1,089 of it. Not to mention we only got to spend about 2 hours there. I'm hoping with all the proof I have of her on my audio video recordings, it will be enough. I'm giving this warning to all those out there that hope to enjoy this place. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, guys and ghouls, Jacqueline is not stopping. Jason Hawes is right. Hashtag boycott the Conjuring House. Town of Burrillville. One of these times, if she is allowed to continue operating in your town, you have control of this. You have control of the business licensing in your community. Next time, it may not be verbal with a guest. Next time, she might get damn well downright physical. What's it going to take? A multi-million-dollar lawsuit? They're not only going to sue Balefire LLC. They're not going to sue just Jacqueline Nunez. They're going to sue you, the town of Burrillville. If somebody gets hurt, either in a minor scuffle with the crazy owner of the Conjuring House, Jacqueline Nunez, or from a major, God forbid, horrifying ordeal with Jacqueline Nunez. This can all be stopped. Boycott the Conjuring House. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls, be the kindness that you want to see in the world. Do not act like Jacqueline Nunez in public and private with anybody. It's absolutely horrifying. Please respect people. Please respect their space. Please respect the law. Have a happy spooky season, guys and ghouls. Hopefully we don't have any more drama at the Conjuring House. I'm hoping. Carpe Diem, beautiful creatures of the world, because no one promised you a tomorrow.